Well, getting some UV burn and having it feel like my eyes have been staring into the sun was definitely not on my bingo card for the Bored Ape Yacht Club Festival, but here we are. So this past weekend, I flew out to Hong Kong to attend the Ape Fest, which is the festival of the largest NFT project out there created by Yuga Labs. I did this because I wanted to see what the event was like after articles surfaced around saying NFTs are officially worthless, and the fact that these NFTs have also lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases since the top of the last bull run. Oh, and then to add to that, the event was being thrown in Hong Kong instead of New York this year, so it was going to be interesting to see how many people actually showed up all the way out there. So last minute, I decided to go out there to figure out what an NFT festival looks like during a bear market in crypto. And I guess to give you guys the Bored Ape Yacht Club experience, but instead of yachts, there was a lot of queues. It might as well have been called the Bored Ape Waiting Club, or as we'll get into later, the Bored Ape Tanning Club. So day one, the event starts off in this really cool area on the island of Hong Kong where, to my understanding, was an old police barrack, and it's kind of been transformed into this art district now. I showed up and I was there for a couple hours, and I realized the entire point of this first part of the event was just to get your tickets and buy merch. And that took a couple hours. So my first impression was a little bit weird because the event didn't really feel exclusive, which is very confusing to me because the people who own Bored Ape Yacht Club tokens, they've spent tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands and in some cases millions of dollars on these JPEGs, right? Which gives them entry to this community and events like this. The only way to go to this event is if you own one or are +1. So to then have like the first impression of the event is, okay, here's your ticket. Now you can stand in line for an hour or so and buy merch, and then, oh, oops, sorry, the whole merch system's down, so you have to manually enter your card to be able to get merch, and oh, oops, sorry, you also have to wait here to pick up your merch for like an hour. The whole thing was just weird. And people were saying it was because too many people were trying to buy the merch at once, but every ticket was an NFT. They knew how many people were gonna be there. It's not like they couldn't have planned for this. Like, Yuga has made so much money off of the Bored Ape holders, the least they can do is invest in basic infrastructure to avoid very preventable mishaps. I mean, they didn't even go get the basic Toast or Stripe card tablets, you know, with a little chip reader. No, they had an iPad essentially, and you had to manually enter all of your information, which is a large reason to why the lines were so long. So instead of enjoying the city of Hong Kong with other community members, they were essentially just stuck in line. This whole thing could have been prevented by doing like some online pre-order drop. Because I mean, then you would have at least known how many people bought the merch, and then you could give people the merch and a pain-free experience where they don't have to queue up for an hour just to get in there and then wait an additional hour just to actually get the merch. Like, come on, the Ace Family's festival, the Ape Fest, that was done on a whim in the middle of nowhere in a desert, and you could still buy the merch with your credit card. And that event was below $100 to get into. I just expected better from an event where essentially the floor of entry is 10 grand because that would be the cheapest mutant ape. But after that, I went back to the hotel and crashed due to my terrible jet lag because Hong Kong, it's basically 12 hours ahead of the Eastern Standard Time that I'm used to. So after that, I woke up and went to the first actual event that wasn't a merch drop. And I say like actual event, like an event that was hosted by Yuga, because they had this whole decentralized event concept where you had a bunch of community members creating their own events, essentially like side quests to the main event, which I think is a really cool concept because then you could kind of go hang out with the people that have the same niche interests as you within that community. I thought that was really cool. But the first event that wasn't, I guess, picking up your tickets and a merch drop was some party where you could see like the whole island of Hong Kong, which was a really cool location. And that was a good night. I had a great time. It was an open bar. You had a great view and just hung around and talked to people all night. Everyone there was super nice. Everyone kind of treated everyone like family. So it was a good vibe there. I met a local who goes by the name of Subvert, and he made this like essential food list for Hong Kong, and he was just passing it out to everyone. It was, I don't know, it was really cool. And I actually went through a bunch of his recommendations, and I'm grateful he did that because that definitely increased my food experience in Hong Kong.
Vibe check.
And at that party, I realized this is kind of like an NFT bro VidCon or Vid Summit in the way where you talk to all these people online, but once a year, you actually get to hang out with them for like 2 to 3 days. But Saturday came around, the day of the face melting event, literally. My eyes are still kind of aching as we speak.
So like the surface is a little bit irritated. It's basically like if you walk through like a desert-like environment for a couple hours.
I don't think that tweet's real, but it's still pretty funny. But this stage has turned out to be an absolute disaster from the organizers aspect as well. So Saturday started off as another merch drop, but this time it's a collaboration with Bape. So on my way there, I didn't really know what to expect because I was unsure if it was going to look like Soho in 2016 where you had all the hype beasts lined up outside of the Supreme drop. Well, that's apparently exactly how it was because it seems like they just tried to make that line as long as possible by the way they structured the entire event. Because they were really quick to bust out like the professional cameras to film the long line. But I guess that's the game because obviously they're going to use the footage of a line wrapping around the block to promote future events. So day 2, the Bored Apes were treated like cattle yet again instead of exclusive members.
So it's been 3 hours and we were just let in from that line over there to a new line, and they said, congratulations, we made it.
In my opinion, it just sets a very bad standard. Like a high-end country club, which costs about the same to join, they would never have members waiting hours upon hours for anything. But hey, I guess don't worry, they handed out bananas and water. So either way, it was interesting to experience the Bored Ape standing in line club. But just like almost all my other videos, it gets so much worse because I was about to join the Bored Ape tanning club. I ended up showing up about an hour late to this main event because I did not want to stand in any more lines at this point. The event was in this old shipping hangar on the outside of the city. The only problem was it wasn't really marked at all. It was extremely hard to find this thing. So I was very lost, just kind of wandering around trying to follow the music in this abandoned shipping hangar to figure out where's the entry. And honestly, I was extremely worried about accidentally Johnny Somaling myself by trespassing by accident.
I feel like it's not marked at all where the hell this place is. I don't know if I'm in the right spot. There's a dog barking. Yo, this is so, like, I hear music, but like, this is not it. This is a delivery.
So I then aborted the mission and went back to the main road and started asking people, where's this event?
Well, apparently, I was on the wrong side of the building.
I then finally found a security personnel who kind of guided me in the right direction.
I'm so confused. I'm assuming it's in here, but like, there's no way No, this is behind the party.
So after about 10 more minutes or so of wandering, I found the Ape Fest. I mean the Bored Ape Yacht Club. But I finally found the Ape Fest, and this is what it looked like. Walking in, you have a whole bunch of like food stands, you have the main stage, and going into the left, you had this like large social space where you had a couple bars set up, you had some social games, you had like darts, you had pool, you had that one game where, you know, you have that wooden table and you like slide stuff across it. No idea what it's called, but that was there as well. And you had a whole bunch of people socializing. Oh, and then I almost forgot as well. So in this like large social room, on the back end of it, you had this makeshift toilet room, which becomes relevant later on in this video. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a cool location and a fun spot to hang out with friends. Only problem is, as you may have seen from Twitter, there was something seriously wrong with the lighting. So much so that a bunch of people got sent to the hospital with severe UV burns to their eyes. And I had very mild exposure compared to a lot of the other people, and I was wearing glasses that have some sort of UV protection in them, and my eyes still hurt. But the speculations were a little bit all over the place at the start because a bunch of people in the middle of the night were like, my eyes are aching. So the first speculation was, is it from the bubbles they were releasing from the stage? But that wouldn't explain the skin burns people had. But then a somewhat viral tweet within the community from the Crypto Burb said, posting that in the hope that my friends suffering from the same issue realize they need medical attention ASAP. Read full. Thanks for the great Ape Fest logistics, guys, at Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club. Incredible event and met plenty of amazing people. Still, as dozens of others, I've almost lost sight this night. I'm being taken care of by doctors now and have only good intentions writing this post. To all my friends who suffer now, go get your eyes checked. You've likely most literally got your eyes burned by UV like I did, which requires medications, eye drops, eye protection, antibiotics, and specialist care. Don't ignore this health hazard. Without proper treatment, it may cause long-lasting vision impairment and other serious damage. To the organizers, for the communication and awareness reasons, it would be fair to put together an official statement with recommendations what to do. As dozens of people you care about were exposed to serious health hazards and lots of suffering, you're good guys, so it should be easy for you to recognize recognize the seriousness of it. Much love. And another person was tweeting out, anyone else's eyes burning from last night? Woke up at 3 in the morning with extreme pain and ended up in the ER. I saw a couple reports, but just trying to figure out if there was a common thread. Then you have another one. Woke up in the middle of the night after Ape Fest with so much pain in my eyes that I had to go to the hospital. I've seen several tweets about it. Doctor told me it was due to the UV from stage lights. I go to festivals often, but have never experienced this. I try to understand how it could happen that almost 1,000 people were made blind. It seems like the lamps were not safe and come from AliExpress. Then the Twitter user Crypto finally found this, where she said, regarding bored apes with eye injuries from Ape Fest 6 years ago in Hong Kong, Hypebeast had a party. Third-party contractors installed disinfecting UV lights instead of stage lights, and people had similar eye injuries, burning blindness, photokeratitis. It's possible this happened. How do you pronounce that word? Probably butchered it. I don't know. And this is a video I made from the airport roughly 48 hours after the event.
This area just feels sunburnt. I was not out in the sun. This is definitely not on my bingo card for covering the Bored Ape event. And this is like, what, 48 hours after? Very odd experience.
So it seems like this was the room that was doing a lot of the damage. That was that makeshift toilet room I was talking about earlier. Now it's unclear if there was multiple spots that had lights that were burning people, but I was definitely not up against the stage. Nor was I inside the other side's booth either, where other people were reporting they also had similar burns. But as you saw, I was inside that mutant ape toilet room. And it's now about 24 hours since I filmed that phone video from the airport, and I still have a slight ache inside my eyes. But I do want to say I feel way better now than what I did just 24 hours ago. But either way, definitely an unexpected outcome of this event. But Yuga responded to all of this saying, apes, we're aware of the eye-related issues that have affected some of the attendees of Ape Fest and have been proactively reaching out to individuals since yesterday to try to find the potential root causes. Based on our estimates, we believe that much less than 1% of those attending and working the event had these symptoms. While nearly everyone has indicated their symptoms have improved, we encouraged anyone who feels them to seek medical attention just in case. Well, I hope they make another statement. I also believe they're downplaying this massively because I talked to like 10 people who had symptoms, and one of the guys on my flight home was in serious pain from all this. That's not just an oopsie, that's a massive problem. Especially at an event where it's like a $10,000 floor just to get into it. This is just not something you expect from an event like that. But they did actually respond again since I recorded the previous bit by saying on Twitter, on Sunday, November 5th, Yuga Labs began to receive reports that some Ape Fest attendees and staff experienced eye pain, vision issues, or skin irritation following the Saturday night community event. These reports were and continue to be deeply concerning to us. We immediately reached out to impacted attendees to learn of their symptoms and to direct our investigation. Simultaneously, we commenced an investigation that included a thorough review of inventory records, material logs, and spec sheets, including paint and lighting, interviewing contractors who provided and built Ape Fest installations, and conducting testing and on-site inspections. This comprehensive investigation, undertaken in collaboration with Jack Morton Worldwide, the global brand experience agency that produced Ape Fest 2023, has determined that UVA emitted lights installed in one corner of the event was likely the cause of the reported issues related to the attendees' eye and skin. We acknowledge that members of the community and general public have suggested a similar conclusion, and we appreciate the patience of the community as we gathered evidence to support this determination. We continue to encourage anyone experiencing symptoms to seek medical attention and share these findings with their medical provider. We also ask that anyone impacted to direct message us at Bored Ape Yacht Club. Community is the heart of Yuga, and the purpose of Ape Fest is to bring the community together in real life. We're saddened this incident has detracted from the experience of Ape Fest attendees. Along with Jack Morton, we're committed to supporting the recovery of anyone affected. Okay, that was a way better response than the original one when they were essentially like, well, only 1% were affected by this. This was definitely a disastrous, unexpected outcome of this event, though. Overall, I mean, I still enjoyed myself because of the people I met at the event, but come on, Yuga. The 3 main events had massive problems. It shouldn't take 5+ minutes to check out 2 days in a row when there's like 1,000 people in line. And then it's obviously a given, but guests shouldn't be exposed to carcinogenic UV lighting at a party. But I'm gonna be real and say the turnout was way greater than expected, even though the event was all the way out in Hong Kong. And I had a lot of fun exploring Hong Kong because it was the first time I was ever in Asia. But anyway, that was my experience of the Bored Ape Tanning Festival, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.